Have you ever had a dream so vivid that when you woke up, you needed a few seconds to figure out whether it really happened? Maybe you dreamed you were falling from a tall building, only to wake up with your heart racing. Or you dreamed of meeting a person you haven't seen in years, and the emotions felt so raw, as if you had actually spent time together. Dreams can feel incredibly real. So real, in fact, that sometimes they leave us confused even after we wake up. But why? Why does the brain create an experience that can rival waking life? That's exactly what we're exploring today. In this video, we're diving deep into the strange and fascinating world of dreams. Those nightly movies that play inside your head without your permission. And more importantly, we're going to answer one question. Why do they feel so real? Dreams are one of those universal mysteries. Every human, no matter where they live or what they believe, experiences them. Scientists have studied dreams for decades, yet they still can't fully explain all of their secrets. But we do know enough to understand how the brain makes a dream feel almost identical to reality. Here's the wild part. When you're dreaming, your brain is using almost the same systems it does when you're awake. The visual areas light up, your memory circuits start mixing old experiences, and your emotional centers, like the amygdala, are on full blast. Put all of that together, and you get an experience so immersive that your brain struggles to tell it apart from waking life. In the next few minutes, we'll break down how dreams are formed, why your mind gets tricked into believing them, and what this says about the mysterious connection between perception and reality. We'll also explore some fun twists, like lucid dreams, when you realize you're dreaming, but the world still feels just as real. So stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll never look at your nightly dreams the same way again. Hi everyone! Welcome to Imagine What? This is the place for big ideas, wild imagination, and creative thoughts of all kinds. If that excites you, don't forget to like and subscribe. Your support keeps me going. And drop your ideas in the comments, because the next video might just be inspired by you. Alright, that's enough chit-chat. Let's dive into today's topic. Before we can understand why dreams feel so real, we first need to ask a simple question. What exactly are dreams? On the surface, they look like random stories that play out in your mind while you sleep. But the truth is, dreams are the result of incredibly complex brain activity. When you fall asleep, your brain doesn't simply shut down. Instead, it cycles through different stages of sleep, from light sleep to deep sleep, and finally to a stage called REM sleep, short for rapid eye movement. REM sleep is where most of our vivid dreaming takes place. During this stage, your eyes move rapidly under your eyelids, your heart rate increases, and your brain becomes almost as active as when you're awake. Scientists often describe REM sleep as the brain's playground. It's when your neurons fire off wildly, replaying memories, mixing emotions, and stitching them together into bizarre yet strangely coherent stories. That's why in one dream, you might be taking an exam in high school, and the next moment, you're flying through space on a skateboard. But here's the key. Dreams aren't meaningless noise. They're closely tied to your memory and emotions. Research shows that dreaming helps consolidate information you've learned during the day and process feelings you may not even be aware of. For example, if you're stressed about an upcoming presentation, you might dream about being unprepared for class. The dream isn't predicting the future. It's your brain rehearsing and regulating your emotions. Another fascinating aspect is how the brain shuts off certain systems while dreaming. The part of your brain responsible for critical thinking, the prefrontal cortex, is much less active. This is why, in a dream, it feels perfect normal for a giant talking cat to show up in your living room. Your logic filter is dialed down, so the dream's narrative feels believable in the moment. So, what are dreams? They're not just random images. They're the brain's way of mixing memories, emotions, and imagination into a nighttime story. And because your brain is still running powerful sensory and emotional systems, those stories can feel as real as waking life. Now that we know what dreams are, the next big question is, Why do they feel so incredibly real? Sometimes you wake up from a dream and need a few seconds to figure out whether it actually happened. That's because when you dream, your brain is activating many of the same systems it uses when you're awake. First, let's talk about the senses. In a dream, your brain doesn't get input from the outside world. Your eyes are closed, your body is still. But instead of going dark, your brain's visual and sensory areas light up on their own. It's like your brain is running a high-definition movie, complete with colors, sounds, and even textures. That's why you can see vivid landscapes, hear people's voices, or even taste food in a dream. Second, your emotional system is on overdrive. The amygdala, which processes fear and strong emotions, is especially active during REM sleep. That's why dreams often carry intense feelings, whether it's joy, sadness, or pure terror. You don't just imagine being chased. In the dream, your brain makes you feel the panic. Meanwhile, your brain's logic center, the prefrontal cortex, takes a back seat. This part usually questions reality and checks for consistency. But during dreaming, it's less active, which means you don't stop to think, wait, why is my childhood home floating in the sky? Instead, you accept the bizarre as normal. That lowered filter allows the dream world to feel seamless and believable while you're inside it. Another factor is memory. Dreams often weave in real memories or fragments of your day. Seeing familiar faces, places, or experiences tricks your brain into thinking the dream world is part of your actual life. It's a bit like déjà vu. The familiarity makes it convincing. 翻了来, your body plays a role too. During REM sleep, your muscles are paralyzed to prevent you from acting out your dreams. But your brain still sends signals to your heart and breathing. That's why you can wake up sweating after a nightmare or with your heart racing after a dream about falling. Your body is physically responding as if it really happened. So, dreams feel real because your brain activates sensory areas, stirs up powerful emotions, relaxes your logic filter, and even pulls in your memories. Put all that together, and your brain creates a world that feels every bit as real as waking life. At least until your alarm goes off. Thanks for watching Imagine What. If you picked up something new today or it just got your imagination running, make sure to hit like, subscribe, and share your ideas in the comments. We might dive into your crazy thought next time. Thank you. Bye.